The device that probably most blurs the line between tablet and smartphone was the other one to get the Google Play Edition treatment recently. Hey, it's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And this time we're taking a look at the Sony Xperia Z Ultra, Google Play Edition. As always, when it comes to the Google Play Editions, they are the exact same as their original counterparts when it comes to pretty much most of the elements leading up to the software. And in that regard, you can always check my review of the Sony Xperia Z Ultra found here at the Android Authority YouTube channel. But we will talk about a few points. In design, as always, the form factor and the aesthetics in this one is the same as the original, but the Google Play Edition does come in black compared to the white one that I did review last. The glass panels are kept together by a metal spine, and this is tempered glass that we're looking at on both sides of this phone. And also, as is the case with a lot of Xperia phones, if not all of them at this point, this does come with IP certification, and that means that this phone can definitely take a bit of a tumble, and it is dust proof and water resistant. The tumble that it can take is due to the tempered glass on both sides. In the end, the Sony Xperia Z Ultra still has great looks and is really just the kind of design that you would expect from Sony these days, and only really Sony can deliver it. So in the end, this is a phone that does look and feel very nice, even if that size is a bit of a hindrance for it all around. 6.4 inches in the screen comes in at 1080p resolution and 342 pixels per inch. Now, Sony brought in the tri-luminous technology that does make for a very vivid experience and a great experience for all types of media. And also, the screen does retain its ability to register presses from any real metal surface. You can basically use anything that has metal to conduct a stylus-like experience on this large screen. Again, the only real problem here is its size, but it does provide a very fun experience. In the power department, there definitely is no shortage of it in the Xperia Z Ultra, as it comes with the Snapdragon 800 and the Adreno 330. Now, the Xperia Z Ultra was an early adopter of this particular package, and it did it quite a bit of justice. After all, the Timescape UI in the original Z Ultra was already pretty minimalistic and thus quite speedy, but now you have the stock Android 4.4 KitKat build with all of its optimizations, and thus is a step further in that proper direction. All in all, you have a very speedy experience here, mostly because of the processing package, but also the benefit of an optimized operating system that speeds along just fine due to all of that performance. When it comes to the hardware, we already mentioned the dust proofing and also the water resistance given from that IP certification. And also, the two sides are made of tempered glass, which gives it an even more rugged outlook. Underneath the surface, it is capable of connecting to all of the major mobile networks, including LTE networks. And after that, there are a couple of really good features that are available in here, like expandable storage found under the small cover right over here via micro SD card. And then the battery is 3050 milliamp hours in its unit, which provides a very decent battery life on a phone as big as this and with this much power. And in my original review, I said that it could get that far. It could get maybe close to 2 days with frugal usage and with the power saving features on. But since this is stock Android, you don't get the power saving or the standby features that the original Timescape UI provided in the original version. So without those, you might just get a pretty decent battery life on here, maybe not anything that is truly impressive. And then we make it to the camera. Now, since the Z Ultra is about as tablet as a phone can get, the lack of even a flash diode on the shooter should pretty much allude to what quality you can expect from it. The stock Android app does bring a few functions to the table, but is definitely not as robust as the original Timescape UI camera application. There is the lack of the superior auto, which we did enjoy on pretty much all of the Sony Xperia phones that came before it. And as far as quality goes, the shooter does give good 8 megapixel photos given that lighting is nice. The pictures are quite vivid, but obviously they won't yield too many good low light shots because obviously you don't have a flash diode built in. And now finally the software. It's actually really interesting what Android 4.4 KitKat looks like on the Xperia Z Ultra because, well, after I thought about it for a while, I realized that even if you do get the full Android KitKat build on here, the Timescape UI was already pretty minimalistic, so it might have already provided more or less the same experience in the original. Now, of course, the updated Android does mean there's better optimization, and it does have a more elegantly simplistic look compared to the Timescape, but with that in mind, Timescape did more or less provide the same general functionality. You had the home screens, the notification drop-down, even though stock Android has a better power shade, and of course Google Now. So what is it that you lose in the translation here? Well, mainly what you lose are the small apps. triggered by opening the recent apps button on the original Xperia Z Ultra. These are small overlays that did help with some multitasking. And then after that, you do lose also Sony's own takes on the media apps like the album and the very good performing Walkman for your local media content. Ultimately, the experience of the most updated stock Android build is really worth the choice for many. But the fact is that you don't really lose too much, if at all, from the conversion from Timescape to Android 4.4 KitKat. Now, whether or not that's a positive or a negative to you really depends on where your standpoint is. And in that regard, $649 is just about what's going to sway you one way or the other. You can also get the original Xperia Z Ultra for around this price and maybe a little bit less. So, for a phone that can scratch that tablet itch as well as this, it still might be a pretty steep price to pay for you. And so, there you have it. The Sony Xperia Z Ultra Google Play Edition. You can't really deny its good looks, and like the original, we do applaud its build quality, and that IP certification is really nice to have. It might be a very large device, and that might be a turnout for some of you, but in the end, this is probably one of the best large devices you can have out there, especially with one as big as this. Now, we did find that the Xperia Z Ultra does fill a niche, much like the LG G Pad that came out with it. The G Pad fulfilled the mid-size tablet range, the 8-inch range, and then the Xperia Z Ultra, though it might be a little bit weird, makes actual sense because it is the closest thing you're going to get in the US to a tablet range that can take phone calls. We don't have any tablets here, full tablets that take calls, and if you have a smartphone that is as large as this, it's the closest thing you can get to that. So that's a bit of a niche that I believe Google is trying to fulfill here with their Google Play editions. And you know what? That's actually not too bad an idea. In the end, having a device like this is actually quite valuable. If you need a huge phone that acts like a tablet, then that is what you get here. Whether or not it is valuable to you is the question that you are going to have to answer. As always, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review of the Xperia Z Ultra Google Play Edition. Now, happy holidays to all of you, and Merry Christmas no matter what holiday that you celebrate this year. I hope you do so safely and also have a lot of fun as you're doing it. Stay tuned to Android Authority for all of the best coverage, including our CES coverage, as it is coming in just a couple weeks, and I hope you guys are as excited as we are to get going on it. Drop us likes on our videos, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and keep it tuned here because Android Authority is your source for all things Android.